regrets I personally have as a business owner in my business building journey is that I didn't focus on email and growing my email list early enough in my business, and it costs me a huge amount of momentum. And that's why I'm so excited today on Amplify Your Marketing Message. We are going to sit down and talk about how do you build your email list and how can you use lead magnets to help you create an audience of buyers. So very much, guys, welcome to our program. We have an incredible entrepreneur with us today, Heather Cameron. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited to have you here. So I want to ask the question to you. How do you start and why is email so important to the growth of any business?
I'm going to start with why is it so important to the growth of any business is because we need to have an audience. Like we can have these beautiful products and services. They can be awesome. They can be wonderful. But if we don't have an audience to sell them to, if we don't have people to see them, then we have to work twice as hard all the time to find people. So really important to grow an audience. And yes, you can grow an audience on social media, but we don't own that audience. So the email list is that one place where you actually own the relationship and you're not dependent on someone else's platform to grow your business.
I think this is so incredibly important because this is the truth. You don't own the conversation on social media. And while you think you might have great engagement, what happens if you lose that contact or the algorithm changes? And I know it happens because I get the phone calls pretty regularly as a business mentor saying, what the hell do I do? And I heartbreakingly give the answer, you begin from today.
Yeah.
And you correct that oversight. And I said, this is my biggest regret that I didn't start earlier. So in your world, how can you use lead magnets and what makes a great lead magnet that actually gets people added to your list?
So there's a key word in the word lead magnet, which is lead to something, right? So lead magnets that really work are lead magnets for you, are lead magnets that actually lead to what you're offering. So many people just create a lead magnet on their expertise, but there's no strategy between how does that lead magnet take somebody on a journey from moving into your world, right? So they sign up for your lead magnet. What experience are you giving them then? And how are you welcoming them? It's not just lead magnet and bye, I'll talk to you whenever I want to, right? I used to call it give them a warm hug, but I actually changed it a bit. You want to sell to them. You want to create and train your list as they come in to expect that you're going to sell with them, expect that you're going to ask them things, expect that you're going to give them value, training them, but you're leading them to your offer or offers. So it doesn't matter whether you're physical or not physical. Don't put a general lead magnet out there because that won't work. Put something that's very specific that draws them in because it's about them, not about you. It's not showing off your expertise. It's not that. It's giving them an experience and then leading them to your product or service.
I want to scream this for the rooftop because I think that is gold, what you just said, because I think so often we think it's about us. We want to lead them to us and add them to the email list. And that's when we go, woohoo, awesome. However, the bigger goal, and I am constantly trying to challenge myself this, I challenge my clients this, where are you leading me to? And if you can't answer that, you could run the risk of orphaning somebody who is seeking help. And if they're seeking help for your services or for a solution and a guide that you could be an asset to, boy, have you missed an opportunity here. And so I love that you talk about it is about the movement, which is such a big part of what I mentor on personally, because it is about the steps and not necessarily the giant leap. How can you get them moving is the question to ask. And I think often people get so disappointed because when they get the lead magnet, it fails to deliver a result.
Well, it doesn't stand on, number one, it doesn't stand on its own. It's not going to sit there and put the lead magnet and people are just going to automatically discover it, right? So you have to get it out there. You have to get it out to the world. But the other thing about it that I think is important along what you just said too, is that we're all trying to hit a sweet spot. And a lot of people don't really think this through. The sweet spot is when people actually make a buying decision. And it's when they know, like, and trust you, although that's not as important as we're led to believe, because we've all bought from people we maybe didn't know or like and trust, right? But we still bought because they were there. But the real important part is they know, like, and trust you, your offer is in front of them and they're ready to act. So our offer, we can build all the know, like, and trust in the world and our offer can be in front of them. But if they're not ready to act, then they're going to buy, they're not going to buy. And if they're ready to act and you're not top of mind, they're going to buy from someone else. And that's the value of creating a lead magnet, having an email strategy, is being top of mind, right? It's not about over communicating, which people get worried about when they have an email list. It's actually about allowing the people on your list to have a choice, but to give them frequent opportunities to buy from you, so that when they are ready to act, it's like, yes, I'm going to buy from Christine.
I love the second word you've just said, and it was so topical to something I had just this morning. And it was like, do they need this lead magnet, or do they choose this lead magnet? And I heard you say the word choice. And this is an important one, because as a they are choosing to stay in your email. They are choosing to action the piece of content that you've created in this lead magnet. And they're choosing to say, what happens next? Because I might need more assistance. And that should be an engagement conversation. And so I want to talk about, where can you use, or what systems, places, opportunities can you use platform-wise to get the lead magnet out into the universe to capture more of an audience? How do you recommend this with your clients?
I recommend see what you already have. So if you're looking at from a platform perspective, what do you already have? What suits your business? Funnily enough, I was having a conversation with my cousin who runs a farming business last night about what platform does he need to communicate to his people, and what type of things can he have. So knowing your business model and where you want to grow, the platform is very, what have you already invested in? Is that good enough? If it's not, then what's your budget? And I'm also going to add one other thing in here when it comes to platform choice. It is a little, I was answering a question yesterday about this. It's a little bit about how your mind works. Because I can tell you, I'm like, I love my platform, and I've given it to other customers. Like, my mind doesn't flow this way. They go to another one and it really flows for them. So, they all do the basic same thing. Some of them are better at statistics, which, if that's important to you, some of them are better at doing automations and things like that. But just start with one, because it's easy to move depending what you have built into it. But it doesn't have to be complicated. Just make sure, what's the most important thing about an email platform? And most people don't get this right off the bat. The most important thing is the deliverability. It's not about the fancy looking formats. In fact, I always encourage people to not any formats in their emails, because it helps your deliverability. But you want to look and see the deliverability of the platform you're choosing. But you don't need an all-in-one solution. You don't need, most of them have enough pieces today. Like, I have a client who launched with MailerLite, free version, was able to do her landing page, store her freebie, start building her list. And then she ended up paying for it so that she could make the landing pages look like her own URL, which you can do now. Hell, you can build a website on Canva now, which just floors me. Right? So it doesn't have, you can create it and have it your own URL, and Canva's hosting it for you. It's just amazing what you can do. So from a technology point of view, less is more. What is it that you need for your business?
I love this, because it is so true. You hear me rant about it quite a lot if you're in my ecosystem and you're a subscriber here to this podcast, which is low tech, high touch. Do the thing. Don't worry about the tech. The tech is not the thing that gets the conversion going. It's just the platform. It's just the execution piece. And so there's a lot of conversation, and I know a lot of entrepreneurs get involved in giveaways, and they swap places, or they change and exchange email lists to be able to get in front of more audiences. What makes somebody a good collaborator if you're looking to get in front of somebody else's audience and borrow access maybe to somebody who might be interested in your lead magnet?
So from a collaboration perspective, there's two ways to do it. I always look at, you want to have your foundation in place, which is you've got your lead magnet. But in some collaborations, it's not a lead magnet you need. You actually need a low ticket offer, because that's their requirements. So making sure that their audience matches, like, don't go, if this is a bad example, but it's the one that comes to mind. Don't go on a cat training giveaway if you're talking about dogs. It sounds simple, but that's really it, right? So you can get involved in these crazy big ones. I have been involved in crazy big ones, and added a huge amount of people to my list, but are they all my people? Right? Now, done right, they still have to self-select. So a giveaway is when a bunch of people come together and you give away, you're sharing to each other's audience. And then they still have to sign up to yours. So you're still only going to get the people that are interested in what you have to offer. But the tighter, the better. is always there. So topical, is it really close to your topic? Is it going to bring in, you're better to add 100 qualified people than 1,000 not qualified people. So topical is important. Same for summits. I love summits in a way because you get to speak if that's what you like to do. Same with podcasts. If you're coming to a podcast guest, then you have the opportunity, depending on the podcast and how they run it, you have the opportunity to bring people towards your audience. So you can use a lead magnet in so many ways.
You can, and it's important that you not only just do it, but you recognize, I love that you talk about the alignment of the audience, because I think when we first get started, we just think everywhere is a good place, and in some element, there's truth to that, because 0 to 1 is a good step. However, as you start to evolve your business, you've got to really go, who is your audience? Am I being of service to them? Because you want the right people in your room and in your ecosystem. It isn't about the vanity metrics. It is about the fact your business is built on those that seek and find value in what you offer, because they're going to choose to be following, potentially purchasing, and really being supporters of the end result, which that is the whole momentum of your business. So I love that you talk about audience building, because it is the one thing I think nobody's talking enough about. How do you actually build an audience? And I love that lead mags are your thing. What is in your business right now a lead magnet style, if you will, that you find is working really well?
So definitely building your audience is number one for me. And it's through lead magnets and summits and giveaways. I teach both. But I think, there'll be people out there that tell you, people download their lead magnets and how many people actually read them. Mm-hmm. So depending on your business, one thing that does work really well, but if it's not part of your business, don't use it, is templates. So, somebody who's a graphic designer and they set up some templates in Canva, people can use those templates and drive their business. That works really well. Journals work really well. Things that give people a win. Like I just finished doing a lead magnet for myself on passive income. And it's actually a 7-step question process. So it is actually a do lead magnet, not a teach lead magnet. Mm-hmm. And I think those work better if I had to categorize them. I have a client who's just finished a lead magnet on doing a pain assessment. So she's in a holistic pain relief. So the lead magnet is a week to self-assess your pain. Those work well because there's a win, but there's still a desire for something more. And that's that balance, right? There's the win in that you're giving them something that they can choose to write off and actually get something out of. I don't think ebooks work well anymore, unless very, very select audience. Infographics used to be the number one thing for lead magnets. I don't think they work because we can find that by Googling. But somebody who takes us through a journey, like a journal, through a journey of the several questions to an aha moment, or a planner. Planners are also very popular for that same reason. They're helping us discover something or do something. I think they work best. Or templates if that suits your business.
So there's a huge gold nugget here, audience, and that is you want to help them with a win in order for them to stay engaged in the movement, which leads to a next step. So many great nuggets here talking about the fact that you've got to build your audience. Lead magnets can be a great thing, but focus on what is the movement piece. Help them get the small win and recognize it's not the technology that's the difference maker. It's you being in the right rooms, clearly understanding their needs, and serving the gap that they've identified. So many gold nuggets. That's why you're such an amazing individual. Heather, I want to know, I always ask all of my guests, this is about demystifying, talking about what's actually working, because I think a lot of people hesitate to say, I don't want to give all my best stuff for free because no one will buy it. That's BS. And I know you and I would both believe that to be true, because it's not the knowledge that's the problem, it's the implementation. And implementation is where we seek guidance. So I want to know, it's a question I ask all my audiences, amplify what's working for you. What is right now the biggest momentum builder in your business?
The biggest momentum builder is taking what I already have, which is lead magnets, but is going out and actually finding opportunities to share them, to be involved in summits, in giveaways. I more than doubled my list 2 months ago just by being in a couple of giveaways and events. And they don't always turn out, but they're always good leads. Whether I get 50 people or 4 people, those 4 people are engaged people. And the amount of work I have to do to be involved in them is like this much, because it's all set up, right? So basically I have to send out an email and that's it. So really it's those partnerships, and then choosing whether you want to be the lead, right? Whether you want to be the host or create, like you're the host of this, you've chosen to be the lead of this way of growing your expertise and your network and your list and all the things that come from it, or whether you want to leverage somebody else's audience. But those are the things that really do work right now. It's leverage. And leverage is when you can get leverage, the best leverage out there is when it's a win-win-win, which means you're leveraging your audience and the person who's coordinating is bringing another X amount of people in. And so you're leveraging multiple people's audiences in a collaborative way. And to me, those are get off social media and find those opportunities, because those are what are really going to make the biggest difference to your business.
What I loved about that, thank you for sharing, is even when I've got an established system that's working, I must still find new opportunities. And that's a non-negotiable. We talk about why do people get into peaks and valleys in their client growth? It's because we take our foot off the gas. Even if it's working last month, if we do no activity this month, it doesn't mean we're going to have a great next month. And so I love that you say, I am intentional always about finding new opportunities and ones where we can grow the influence and the impact and the results that our clients and our audience is getting. Why? Because when we do it, we get more movement. And movement is ultimately the measure that you are seeking. It has been fantastic, Heather, to have you as our guest today. Where can people find you to connect with you and learn more about the work you do?
My website is igniteyourmarket.com instead of Amplify Your Market. We're very close in our naming here. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram as well. And I actually do have a lead magnet about lead magnets. So if that's somebody is interested in, they can reach out for that as well.
I highly encourage you to do that, guys. It has been a pleasure to talk today about how to build your email list with lead magnets. Our guest has been Heather Cameron. It's fantastic to have you. Be sure to subscribe for future episodes. And until next time, get active, focus on the movement, create a great lead magnet to target your audience. You will see more success. And Heather and I will tell you that is how it happens. We'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on our next episode.